You don't need supernatural abilities to influence the minds of others. Simply by using psychology creatively, you can make them do what you want without them realizing it. Get ready, because in this video, we'll reveal 17 simple but incredibly effective psychological tricks that will allow you to control any person and situation. Before we begin, if you find value in these videos, please like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay updated. Now let's start this transformative journey together. Are you ready? Number 1. Gently touching the elbow can help you get what you want. Imagine this. You're in a bookstore, browsing books with interest when suddenly you feel a light touch on your elbow. Without realizing it, you find yourself spending more time in the store and end up taking home more books than you planned to buy. What happened here? This phenomenon is not just a coincidence. It's backed by psychology and has been studied. A study found that shoppers who received a light touch on the elbow while in a bookstore tended to spend more time in the store and buy more books than those who didn't receive any. This simple gesture seems to have a surprising effect on human behavior. But why does it work? Stoic philosophers like Epictetus taught us that our actions and reactions are determined by our perception of things more than by the things themselves. In other words, our mind interprets external stimuli and decides how to react to them. A gentle touch on the elbow can be interpreted by our mind as a gesture of kindness or connection, making us feel more receptive and willing to cooperate. This principle can be applied in various situations of everyday life. For example, if you're in a work meeting and want to get a colleague's collaboration on a project, you could try to establish a subtle connection by lightly touching their arm while presenting your proposal. This gesture can increase your colleague's receptiveness and make them more willing to listen to you and cooperate with you. Therefore, the power of a gentle touch on the elbow goes beyond the physical. It's a reminder of the influence our actions can have on others' perception and behavior. Number 2. The power gaze can be effective for intimidating or silencing someone. Fix your gaze on the area of the forehead, imagining a third eye in the center. This gaze not only changes the atmosphere, making it more serious, but also increases the respect the person feels towards you. This technique is useful when you feel threatened. Maintain eye contact without blinking, focusing on that point, to intimidate anyone who challenges you. Marcus Aurelius, the famous emperor and Stoic philosopher, taught us about controlling our emotions and mastering ourselves. In his work Meditations, he reminds us that we have the power to choose how to respond to external circumstances. By applying the power gaze, we're practicing this Stoic principle of maintaining calm and composure in challenging situations. Number 3. When the mind closes, the body follows. If you try to persuade someone who is closed to new ideas, try to get them to cross their legs or arms before continuing. When the mind closes, the body does too, making persuasion difficult. To counteract this resistance, you can use strategies that encourage the person's mental and physical openness. Inviting them to sit next to you creates an atmosphere of collaboration and trust, in line with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with others. Additionally, assigning them simple tasks can help distract their mind and promote a more receptive posture. Offering a cup of tea or coffee is another gesture that not only shows courtesy, but also can help relax the person and open their arms to you. The Stoics reminded us of the importance of moderation and serenity in our interactions with others, which can be reflected in this act of hospitality. Number 4. Use the context to your advantage. When we sit with our back to an open space, our stress level increases. This tension intensifies if the person's back is turned to an open door or window at ground level. This information can be used in various ways. For example, you can strategically place your competitors in that position to have more control in a meeting. You can also reverse the situation to make a shy person appear more extroverted. For example, if your partner is shy and you want them to impress your parents at the next dinner, have them sit at the head of the table, away from the door, and with their back to the wall. You'll be surprised to see how this comfortable and relaxed position encourages the person to speak with more authority, as well as to attract more attention from others. Number 5. The power of the pen to control the direction of someone's gaze. Use a pen to point to the presentation while verbalizing what the person sees. Then, separate the pen from the presentation and place it between your eyes and the other person's eyes. This will generate a magnetic effect that will make the person raise their head and pay more attention to what you're saying. To reinforce this trick, keep your palm open while speaking. Number 6. Observe who's for or against in a newly integrated group. This strategy, which resonates with the principles of Stoicism and the teachings of philosophers like Seneca, urges us to be keen observers of social dynamics to navigate effectively in various group situations. Simply observe the leader, as subordinates tend to imitate their gestures and positions. For example, if the leader adopts a relaxed posture while sitting, subordinates are likely to mimic it. In terms of importance within the group, this knowledge can be useful for identifying potential allies and rivals in a negotiation or when presenting ideas to couples. Observing who mirrors whom can help understand who makes the decisions. If the woman initiates the movements and the man imitates her, she's likely to have more influence on decision-making. Number 7. Close a deal before dinner. If you plan to do business during a dinner, the optimal strategy involves holding most of the conversation before the meal is served. Once everyone starts eating, the conversation can stagnate, and alcohol can impair thinking. Moreover, after eating, the stomach absorbs some of the blood that normally irrigates the brain to facilitate digestion, which hinders mental clarity. Therefore, it's advisable to present your proposals before dinner when everyone is mentally alert, as no one makes decisions with their mouth full. This strategy, rooted in psychology and personal development, is based on understanding how the human mind works and how external factors influence our decisions. So, during a business dinner before the food is served, you can take advantage to present your most important proposals. When it's time to discuss key financial and strategic details, you capitalize on the attention and focus of your guests. By presenting your proposals before dinner, you capture their interest and maintain a productive conversation. As a result, you close a successful deal and secure the financial backing you need to grow your company. Number 8. Hold standing meetings for short-term decisions. Studies have shown that standing conversations tend to be shorter than those conducted sitting down. By leading a meeting standing up, you establish a tone of urgency and focus on the task at hand. Participants tend to be more concise and direct in their communications, which can lead to faster and more effective decision-making. Additionally, the meeting leader, by remaining standing, is perceived as someone with higher status, which can increase their authority and leadership within the group. The simple act of standing up when someone enters your workspace can indicate a readiness for action and availability to address their needs immediately. This posture can also contribute to greater efficiency in communication and problem-solving, avoiding complacency and procrastination. Consider eliminating visitor chairs in your workspace area. Number 9. Incentivize ethical behavior in groups of people. It's inherent to human nature to perform better when feeling under observation. A study found that people were more likely to clean up the mess they had caused in a cafeteria when shown a picture of a pair of eyes compared to a picture of flowers. Researchers suggest that the image of eyes induces a sense of social scrutiny, leading to greater compliance with ethical norms. Therefore, if you want to prevent people from littering at the university, or encourage them to return borrowed books to the library, displaying an image with a pair of eyes can create the perception of surveillance and foster more ethical behaviors. Number 10. Scare people to get what you need. According to research, people who experience anxiety and then a feeling of relief tend to respond positively to subsequent requests. In a social experiment, those who heard the whistle of an invisible police officer when crossing the street were more likely to accept completing a questionnaire than those who heard nothing. This is because their cognitive resources were occupied thinking about potential danger, leaving them less capacity to think about the request being made to them. Although it wouldn't be prudent to scare someone in the office, you could generate a slight startle in a colleague by reminding them that they need to submit an important project and that the boss is in a bad mood. Then clarify that it was just a joke and use the situation to ask for the favor you need. Number 11. Condition a person to help you in the future. When you want someone to genuinely desire to help you, even in situations where they initially rejected your request, making that person feel indebted to you can be effective. The next time you need their help, they may feel obligated to offer it to you. This sense of debt can also be applied inversely by asking for small favors on multiple occasions. Even if someone didn't like you initially, if they help with small things, their brain may justify that action by thinking that you're not so bad, which can lead to an improvement in the relationship. Number 12. Cross your arms to know if you're being listened to. In the middle of an important conversation, it's common to get lost in speech and not notice if the interlocutor is paying attention or not. To avoid wasting time talking to a distracted person, cross your arms while speaking and observe if the other person does the same. If your interlocutor mimics you, they're likely paying attention and following the conversation. This technique reminds us of the importance of reciprocity in communication, where both the sender and the receiver are engaged in the process, in line with the Stoic principles of virtue and moderation. Mindful attention during a conversation reflects mutual respect and effective communication. Number 13. Feel more confident. This technique, although simple, is extremely powerful. Standing up with an upright posture, shoulders back, and deep breaths, walking with energy, can make you feel more confident and optimistic. According to Stoic philosophy, control over posture and breathing can influence one's perception and behavior. For example, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus emphasized the importance of maintaining an upright posture and a confident attitude even in challenging situations. By adopting this technique, you can not only improve your own confidence but also influence how others perceive you. The connection between the body and mind is total, and by changing your body posture, an immediate change in mentality occurs. By applying this technique, you can achieve things you never imagined. Are you afraid to ask for a raise from your boss? Are you afraid to ask that person you like in college? Simply change your posture, breathing, muscle tension, and tone of voice, and go for what you want. Number 14. Implement the technique of anticipated praise. Before approaching someone in a conversation, this strategy involves praising something specific and relevant about the person. For example, you could start by saying something like, "I loved your presentation at yesterday's meeting. It was very inspiring." Or, "Those are nice sneakers you're wearing today." Before addressing a more serious topic or making a request, this prior praise helps establish a positive and receptive atmosphere for the ensuing interaction, which can increase the chances of getting a positive response. The key to praising before speaking is to be genuine and specific in your compliments, showing genuine interest in the other person and creating a conducive environment for effective communication. Number 15. Calm down angry customers. When encountering an angry customer, the first step is to stay calm, lower your tone of voice, and listen to their complaint. Repeat the complaint in a relaxed tone to demonstrate that you understand their problem. By doing so, we're validating the customer's concerns and showing our commitment to finding a satisfactory solution. This approach reflects the practical wisdom of the Stoics, who advocated for maintaining serenity in all circumstances to avoid outbursts in the future. Place a mirror on the wall behind you. People tend to calm down when they see themselves angry in the mirror, a trick commonly used by therapists. This trick, used by emotional management professionals, demonstrates the importance of using psychological tools to effectively manage others' emotions. Number 16. Identify the closest people in a group. If you're new to a place and want to know if two people are very close, you just need to observe carefully. When the group laughs, people tend to direct their attention towards those with whom they feel most connected or whom they consider most similar. It's as if our instincts lead us to seek validation and recognition from those with whom we share a closer relationship. Additionally, another revealing clue lies in the direction of the feet. People tend to point their feet towards those they feel most comfortable or interested in, indicating a greater affinity or emotional connection. Therefore, if you notice that certain people receive more attention and laughter during moments of shared humor, and that the feet of other group members are oriented towards them, they're likely perceived as the most influential or popular within the group. Number 17. Use the door-in-the-face technique. The door-in-the-face strategy is a subtle but effective psychological trick based on the principle of reciprocity. It involves making an initial request that is large or even unreasonable, anticipating it will be rejected, and then presenting a more modest and reasonable request. The idea is that the person you're addressing, after rejecting the first request, will be more inclined to accept the second one, as the latter seems much more reasonable in comparison. For example, you could start by asking for a loan of a considerably large amount, knowing it's unlikely to be granted. After the person refuses, you present your real request, which is a loan of a much smaller amount but was your actual goal from the beginning. By comparing the two requests, the second one will seem much more modest and acceptable, increasing the chances of it being accepted. This trick aligns perfectly with the principles of Stoicism, particularly with the concept of accepting rejection and adapting to circumstances. A Stoic would know that rejection is a natural part of life and wouldn't be discouraged by an initial refusal. Instead, they would see the opportunity in the second request and be prepared to adjust their expectations and strategies according to changing circumstances. Another good example of how to apply this technique in everyday life could be when trying to persuade a friend to accompany you to an event. Instead of directly asking them to accompany you, you could start by asking them to accompany you for the entire weekend, which may be too much for their schedule. After they refuse, you could present your true request, which is for them to accompany you only for an afternoon. By doing so, they're more likely to agree, as the second request seems much more manageable compared to the first. If you found value in this video, like, share, and subscribe with the bell for more insights on living a fuller and more conscious life. By the way, which psychological trick did you find most interesting or useful to apply in your daily life? Do you know any other psychological trick we haven't mentioned? Let me know in the comments. If you don't know what to comment, simply write Stoic pick to show that you've mastered our session. Now, I recommend you watch these two videos here to continue learning about Stoicism and human psychology, so you can advance in your personal development. Thank you, and until the next one. I sincerely hope that this message has been useful to you. I want to congratulate you greatly for having come this far, and for having finished the video. That means that you want to improve as a person. If you liked the video, leave your comment. You don't know what to comment. Comment "I dare," so I know you made it to the end. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now and join us. Thank you for your attention. Until next time, warrior.